Mercy. Neighbor, I did indeed come with you to see Christiana this morning, and since she is, as you see, taking her last farewell of the country, I think to walk this sunshiny morning a little with her to help her on her way. But she told her not of the second reason, but kept it to herself. Timorous. Well, I see you have a mind to go a-fooling too. But take heed in time and be wise. While we are out of danger, we are out. But when we are in, we are in. So Miss Timorous returned to her house, and Christiana betook herself to her journey. But when Timorous was got home to her house, she sends for some of her neighbors, to wit, Miss Bat's Eyes, Miss Inconsiderate, Miss Light Mind, and Miss Know Nothing. So when they were come to her house, she falls to telling of the story of Christiana and of her intended journey, and thus she began her tale. Timorous. Neighbors, having but little to do this morning, I went to give Christiana a visit, and when I came at the door, I knocked. As you know, it is our custom, and she answered, "If you come in God's name, come in." So in I went, thinking all was well, but when I came in, I found her preparing herself to depart the town, she and also her children. So I asked her what was her meaning by that, and she told me in short that she was now of a mind to go on pilgrimage, as did her husband. She told me also a dream that she had, and how the king of the country where her husband was had sent her an inviting letter to come thither. Then said Miss Know Nothing, "And what do you think she will go?" Timorous. "Ay, go she will, whatever come of it, and methinks I know it by this, for that which was my great argument to persuade her to stay at home, to wit, the trouble she was like to meet with in the way, is one great argument with her to put her forward on her journey, for she told me in so many words, the bitter goes before the sweet. Yea, and for as much as it doth, it makes the sweet the sweeter." Miss Bat's Eyes. "Oh, this blind and foolish woman," said she, "and will she not take warning by her husband's afflictions? For my part, I see. If he were here again, he would rest him content in a whole skin, and never run so many hazards for nothing." Miss Inconsiderate also replied, saying, "Away with such fantastical fools from the town, a good riddance for my part. I say of her, should she stay where she dwells, and retain this mind, who can live quietly by her? For she will either be dumpish or unneighborly, to talk of such matters as no wise body can abide. Wherefore, for my part, I shall never be sorry for her departure. Let her go, and let better come in her room. It was never a good world since these whimsical fools dwelt in it." Then Miss Lightmind added as followeth, "Come, put this kind of talk away. I was yesterday at Madame Wanton's, where we were as merry as the maids. For who do you think should be there but I and Miss Love the Flesh, and 3 or 4 more with Miss Lechery, Miss Filth, and some others. So there we had music and dancing, and what else was meet to fill up the pleasure And I dare say my lady herself is an admirable, well-bred, gentle woman, and Miss Letchery is as pretty a fellow. By this time Christiana was got on her way, and Mercy went along with her. So as they went, her children being there also, Christiana began to discourse. And Mercy, said Christiana, I take this as an unexpected favor, that thou shouldest set foot out of doors with me, to accompany me a little in my way. Mercy. Then said young Mercy, for she was but young, if I thought it would be to any purpose to go with you, I would never go near the town. Christiana. Well, Mercy, said Christiana, cast in thy lot with me. I well know what will be the end of our pilgrimage. My husband is where he would not, but be for all the gold in the Spanish mines. Nor shalt thou be rejected, though thou goest but upon my invitation. The king who hath sent for me and children is one that delighteth in mercy. Besides, if thou wilt, I will hire thee, and thou shalt go along with me as my servant. Yet we will have all things in common betwixt thee and me, only go along with me. Mercy. But how shall I be ascertained, that I also should be entertained? Had I this hope from one that can tell, I would make no stick at all, but would go, being helped by him that can help, though the way is never so tedious. Christiana. Well, loving Mercy, I will tell thee what thou shalt do. Go with me to the wicket gate, and there I will further inquire for thee. And if there thou shalt not meet with encouragement, I will be content that thou return to thy place. I also will pay thee for thy kindness, which thou showest to me and my children in the accompanying of us in our way as thou dost. Mercy. Then will I go thither, and will take what shall follow, and the Lord grant that my lot may there fall, even as the King of heaven shall have his heart upon me. Christiana. Then was glad at heart, not only that she had a companion, but also for that she had prevailed with this poor maid to fall in love with her own salvation. So they went on together, and Mercy began to weep. Then said Christiana, Wherefore weepest, my sister, so? Mercy. Alas, said she, who can but lament that shall but rightly consider what estate and condition my poor relations are in, that yet remain in our sinful town? And that which makes my grief the more is because they have no instruction, nor any to tell them what is to come. Christiana. Boughs become pilgrims, and thou dost for thy friends, as my good Christian did for me when he left me. He mourned for that I would not heed nor regard him, but his Lord and ours did gather up his tears, and put them into his bottle, and now both I and thou, and these my sweet babes, are reaping the fruit and benefit of them. I hope, Mercy, that these tears of thine will not be lost, for the truth hath said, that they that sow in tears shall reap in joy and singing. And he that goeth forth and weepeth, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him. Then said Mercy, Let the most blessed be my guide, if 't be his blessed will, unto his gate into his fold. up to his holy hill. And never let him suffer me to swerve or turn aside from his free grace and holy ways, whatever shall me betide. And let him gather them of mine that I have left behind. Lord, make them pray they may be thine with all their heart and mind. Now my old friend proceeded and said, but when Christiana came to the Slough of Despond, she began to be at a stand. For, said she, this is the place in which my dear husband had like to have been smothered with mud. She perceived also that, notwithstanding the command of the king to make this place for pilgrims good, yet it was rather worse than formerly. So I asked if that was true. Yes, said the old gentleman, too true, for many there be that pretend to be the king's laborers, and say they are for mending the king's highway, that bring dirt and dung instead of stones, and so mar instead of mending. Here Christiana, therefore, and her boys did make a stand. But, said Mercy, come, let us venture, only let us be wary. Then they looked well to their steps, and made shift to get staggering over. Yet Christiana had like to have been in, and that not once or twice. Now they had no sooner got over, but they thought they heard words that said unto them, Blessed is she that believeth, for there shall be a performance of what has been told her from the Lord. Then they went on again and said, Mercy to Christiana. Had I as good ground to hope for a loving reception at the wicket gate as you, I think no Slough of Despond would discourage me. Well, said the other, you know your sore, and I know mine. And, good friend, we shall all have enough evil before we come to our journey's end. For it cannot be imagined that the people that design to attain such excellent glories as we do, and that are so envied that happiness as we are, but that we shall meet with what fears and snares, with what troubles and afflictions they can possibly assault us with that hate us. And now Mr. Sagacity left me to dream out my dream by myself. Wherefore methought I saw Christiana and Mercy and the boys go all of them up to the gate, to which when they came they betook themselves to a short debate about how they must manage their calling at the gate, and what should be said unto him that did open unto them. So was concluded, since Christiana was the eldest, that she should knock for entrance, and that she should speak to him that did open for the rest. So Christiana began to knock, and as her poor husband did, she knocked, and knocked again. But instead of any that answered, they all thought that they heard as if a dog came barking upon them. A dog, and a great one too, and this made the women and children afraid. Nor durst they for a while to knock any more, for fear the mastiff should fly upon them. Now therefore they were greatly tumbled up and down in their minds, and know not what to do. Knock they durst not, for fear of the dog. Go back they durst not, for fear the keeper of the gate should espy them as they so went, and be offended with them. At last they thought of knocking again, and knocking more vehemently than they did at first. Then said the keeper of the gate, "Who is there?" So the dog left off to bark, and he opened unto them.